Good afternoon. Michael Masserang here again with Rhino Design Build, and we're back here in Waxhaw here for part 2 of our video. And the house has already been remediated and clearance testing has already been performed, and we wanted to show you a few things about the project before the crew takes down all the containment areas. And that's what I'm here to show you today. Stand by. Here we are at the rear entrance, and we're going to go review the work areas. It's going to look a lot different than the first part of the video. And again, we've had our clearance testing performed and we passed with flying colors. And you can see here we had to set up this secondary layer of containment, which I'm going to break today. We had to put that down for this waterproofing system, which I'm going to discuss here in a moment, but wanted to review all the general work areas. As you can see, part of the wall was removed here to investigate for biofilm contamination. All these areas have been cleaned. There's our 2 areas, bathroom and bedroom, which also were part of the scope of work. You can see here this compartment was heavy with contaminants, and so this was scrubbed completely down and the walls coated with liquid sealer, and that cleaned up really nicely. This area was completely clear of biofilm contaminants. On the clearance report, as you can recall, this is a basement crawl space combination on this particular design on this home. It had some inherent flaws at the time of construction. I'm going to really light it up in here. We've created a drain system here, a sump pump and drain tile system to manage the water intrusion that was coming into the basement section. All those panels have been removed that were contaminated with biofilm growth. You can see up here on the left side of the house facing structure from the street, in addition to the sump pump install, we replaced every single vent well that's up here. They were overgrown and filled with debris, allowing water to get right into the foundation. You can see all 4 of these are done properly, dug out properly with gravel at the base. And also in this neighborhood, we had to put our sump discharge, which is right here. So this is the sump discharge from the basement that you saw a few seconds ago. So nice, clean and neat, should be very useful and functional for many years. And you can see here the crawl space is much cleaner. The liner's been installed. But one thing I wanted to share here before we go further, this is underneath the porch, the front porch section, which had the highest readings of microbial growth. And this came back spotless on clearance test. And we've coated these walls completely with 2 coats of liquid sealer. Some of these companies will apply hard wall sealers, which mold can get behind those panels. Moisture builds up behind the panels, and microbial growth will grow, biofilm contaminants. And I've removed many of those panels in my career where there's just caked with microbial growth. So liquid sealers is okay to apply in many of these situations, contrary to what looks good in the brochure. So very good there. They can set up all their shelves that they had here, if you'll recall. Stored a lot of equipment here, and they can go ahead and do that. The drain system, which is going to create a barrier from the crawl space proper between the basement section and this area now is 110% spotless, clean, with our clearance test showing that. And up in the crawl space there, we do have a commercial dehumidifier, which is up in the back. I'll put that up on the screen for you to see. But just a standard 70 pint commercial dehumidifier is sufficient for this particular square footage. Don't need to go too crazy. And the guys, of course, will re-insulate this, but I thought it'd be fun to get this before they did that. All the duct work, you can see what's left. The HVAC contractor will be here next week and is going to remove the rest of this trunk line and part of the trunk that goes upstairs that feeds the upstairs air exchange. So a little bit of work that's going to happen there with our HVAC partner that works with us on a lot of these jobs. So it cleaned up really nice. I'm very pleased with the quality of the install. Everything is wrapped. You know, there's a safety gap for termites. I like to double that. There's like a 5-6 inch gap there. So companies can continue to do termite inspections. And everything is sealed up all nice and tight in here. Shouldn't have any moisture problems down here ever again, as long as that dehu is running as it's designed. And I'm going to go through here now. There's step down again. We had our 2 other sub work areas. You know, we had to chase out a section of biofilm contaminants. There were a lot of plants here that required a lot of watering along that wall. And I think what happened is, over the years, overflow from the watering of the plants got in this wall. So we had to tear this out and do some cleaning in this bedroom. So I was afraid we're gonna have to tear the whole bedroom out, but we didn't have to. And this was just a limited area where biofilm contamination was discovered, and that's been cleaned and of course verified with clearance testing. And we'll put that up for you to look at. This is the bathroom area where we had to do some remove the vanity and clean this area really well. And still some residual staining, as a matter of fact. We're going to work on that a little bit more as well before we're completely done here. Yeah, you can see, you know, really nice result. And, you know, getting that clearance testing is just that one extra step that most companies in the Carolina market will not do. And we do it without having to be asked. We just go ahead and do that. One final thing, you know, having a third-party clearance test. Some companies self-clear in-house. That's kind of inappropriate, sort of like letting the chickens, the fox count the chickens in the hen house. Should be a third-party IEP, mold and air quality specialist that does independent clearance testing. So here is this waterproofing system. What we determined is water was seeping in this wall from above grade, coming in along this wall. And there was no way to attack it from the outside because you've got a deck and hardscapes up there that would have had to been completely removed, which would have added $100,000 to the job. So these interior systems, breaking the floor out and putting in a waterproofing system, a control pipe wrapped in a geotextile sock with aggregate, just an old-fashioned footing drain really, is appropriate to control water intrusion. And again, hard panel on a block wall, you want to do 24 inches of wall sealer, and the rest of the distance up to the sill plate, 2 coats of liquid sealer so that you're not building up moisture behind the panels. We don't want to get biofilm contaminants to grow behind panels. The weep holes, we did extra weep holes in every cell instead of every other cell to make sure that all the trapped moisture that's in this wall gets into the system and goes out to our gravity discharge, which is out about 30 feet that way, below grade, down grade. You can see it there through the window. So that was the reason for the secondary containment we had to set up to keep the dust down. We didn't want that to get into any of the work areas. So And then, of course, this area has been scrubbed. And the crew is going to return here to bring the stuff all back in and to break down all these containment areas. So, but that sort of wraps this job up. You know, this is the proper way to meet that SIR standard that is so important. And we want the clients to understand, if you are a SIRS patient, you have medical issues because of mold or microbial manifestation, biofilm contamination, you know, certainly we follow those standards and meet the SIR standard. So you can give us a call, you know, for a consultation. I can refer you to the IEP that we use, or I can do the initial assessment, bring in IEP afterwards, however convenient. But we do it by the book, testing, project oversight by the IEP, and of course clearance testing. And then these other construction related problems, waterproofing system is needed. Maybe you need drainage installed outside. And we're able to handle those things, and look forward to working with you to develop the project. Again, this is Michael Mazarang down in Waxhaw here on an industrial mold cleaning program or service with this client, and we're about done with this one, and we're headed to the next one. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. Thank you.